Yes, because that storyline was crucial. They decided to just toss in some random one-day plot detour that meant absolutely nothing. Brilliant. And can we talk about the casting choice for Holly? Painfully bad. Really, just send Holly packing, please. On the plus side, there might be hope for something worth watching. The chemistry between Jason and Sasha in Brennan's office was off the charts. The looks they gave each other, instant spark. They've got a natural ease together, like Jason and Britt used to have. I'm calling it a Jason and Sasha romance would be an actual win here. But Alexis taking the kids? Total nonsense. Sure, it makes sense that Dante wouldn't be able to keep them all together, but this is going to wreck him. Killing off Sam threw the whole show into a tailspin. And with the writers running wild, GH is going to be unrecognizable in a year. Here's the kicker. When people need Jason's help, suddenly they forget he's Sunny's enforcer. That is, until things get bloody, and then, surprise, he's dragged into the PCPD and threatened with prison unless he turns on Sunny. Every single time trouble's brewing, they go running to Jason or Sunny. And for that brief moment, they're the good guys of Port Charles. But the minute they get what they want, they're right back to being horrified by them. Classic. Holly just pulled that exact move, using Jason and Sunny as her personal protection. And oh yeah, I noticed that look Jason gave Jack when Sidwell was mentioned. Like he was seeing straight through him. Sidwell can go on with his grand, ridiculous act, but Jason's not buying a word of it. Jason and Sasha's chemistry, it's the real deal. You can almost picture them as a proper, epic couple. Cody's fine, but Jason, he takes it up a whole other level. So here we are again. Jason swoops in and saves the day. He's standing there, stone-faced, as Sidwell flails through his little dramatic performance. Jason swooped in and saved Sasha, and if he hadn't caught Holly's ski with the diamonds, she'd have left Sasha behind without a second thought. But true to Jason, he's just there, calm and quiet, soaking it all in, just relieved that Sasha's safe. Meanwhile, poor Robert's totally fooled by Holly's concerned mother act. Sasha might be moved by it all now, but eventually, she'll realize the truth. She never would have been in danger if Holly could have kept her greedy hands to herself. And next episode, Holly's off to demand what she's owed. Shocking. Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. Alexis is laying on the heartbroken mom act thick, but credit where it's due, so is Dante. Jason's farewell was a bit sad, sure, but Dante's in a whole different league of devastation. The poor guy's barely holding it together. He's not sleeping, not eating, and he's crushed at the idea of life without Sam. He's all in on being there for all the kids too. Meanwhile, Jason shed a few tears, got over it in record time, and then went off to save Sasha. Would it really kill Alexis to let Dante talk with the kids and their dads first? Maybe, just maybe, they could work out a way to keep the kids together where they're actually comfortable. And speaking of comfortable, Holly waltzing off with those diamonds? That's got to be an international crime, right? One can only hope Brennan has enough sense to haul her in and ship her off to whatever country owns those jewels. Justice could use a win here. And really, a one-day story arc for all this chaos? They could have stretched it out with Holly getting kidnapped for weeks, or turned it into a suspenseful search through the rubble. Nope. By the time Cody even found out Sasha was kidnapped, she was already safe. And here I thought Sasha was done with the non-stop drama. Then again, I was hoping Michael and Willow would get a moment of peace after her recovery, but apparently that was too much to ask for as well. Then there's Holly's knack for keeping life-altering secrets, which is almost a sport at this point. She didn't tell Robert a thing, even after hearing he survived that explosion that everyone thought had killed both him and Anna. Classic Holly, she didn't bother to mention it to Luke or their son Ethan that they were, related. And that DNA test Robert ran through the WSB, the one that was supposed to quietly confirm he and Sasha were family, he kept it under wraps so no one, not even Holly, knew about it. It was supposed to settle things for good, to prove they were really family. But with Holly involved, you can never be too sure. It's hilarious that in a mansion filled with people, they're struggling with an empty pantry. Remember the days when the Quartermains had an actual butler, and who could forget Alice? Or that time Alexis snuck in as their butler, undercover. Those were the days. Anyway, Tracy's back, and her scenes with Cody are pure gold. Watching them get ready to team up on Drew is going to be fantastic. And yes, it was so satisfying to see Tracy and Cody having a little heart-to-heart about that hush money Drew gave him. Tracy's advice was spot on. He should have asked for $100,000 instead. Today's episode hints that Dante's planning on leaving Jason's penthouse. He and Rocco might be heading to the Quartermain estate, especially with Lulu supposedly waking up on Thanksgiving. Could they have picked a more melodramatic date? Meanwhile, it's looking like Danny's probably going to end up with Jason after all. I'm guessing Diane is going to talk Alexis out of taking custody, pointing out she's got enough on her plate already. But Dante? He was all kinds of wishful today, thinking he, Danny, Scout, and Rocco could all stay together as one big family. Newsflash, Dante, those kids have their own fathers, and trying to hold on to all of them is only going to complicate things more. Focus on Lulu and Rocco, and let Danny and Scout go where they're meant to. And I still don't buy Holly's story about Robert being Sasha's dad. Something feels off there, not to mention, they keep dangling happiness in front of Sasha, only to snatch it away at the last second. Queen Tracy, as always, brings a much-needed dose of sass to all this drama. Of course, she's going to throw in a little jab at Sasha while rolling her eyes at Sasha's kidnapping. And naturally, Tracy's thrilled that Drew showed his true Quartermain colors by paying Cody off, but let's be real, she's also a bit disappointed Cody didn't hold out for more cash. Classic Tracy. Now she and Cody have a pact to keep a close watch on Drew, and it's only a matter of time before Tracy pulls up some nanny cam footage or Michael spills the beans, toppling Drew's dreams of political grandeur. Tracy and Cody are honestly the best thing GH has going right now. With all the doom and gloom they're piling on, it's a relief to have even a sliver of humor. And Tracy's sarcasm with Cody is absolute gold. Their scenes give us that rare chance to actually laugh lately, and it's so needed. And then there's Alexis, saying Sam wouldn't want Danny living with Jason. Really, Alexis? How exactly does she know what Sam would want? This is the same Alexis whose own parenting track record isn't exactly spotless. Molly and Christina's lives are proof enough of that. And let's not forget, she's barely a step away from slipping back into alcoholism herself. Those kids deserve a stable home, and Alexis is not that. I'd bet that if Drew gets elected, he'll make a play for Scout to live with him too, just to keep her out of Jason's orbit. As for Holly, she should have stayed in Africa. Robert would be way better off. There's no way I'm buying that he's Sasha's dad. Holly's smart, and she knows Robert would go into full protector mode if he thought Sasha was his daughter. She could have easily paid off a WSB insider with a diamond or two to tamper with those DNA results before handing them over. For all we know, Sasha and Cody aren't even related, and I wouldn't put it past Holly to be lying about being Sasha's mother either. If Cody and Sasha are smart, they'll get their own DNA test done to get to the truth once and for all. And yeah, Alexis does have a support system. Dant, Rocco, Danny, Scout, the whole crowd, but it's still easy to see her getting pushed back toward the bottle if things don't go her way. It's maddening that they killed off Sam instead of letting her get treatment or just leaving the door open for her return. ABC should really be ashamed. 21 years, and that's how they write off Kelly Monaco. Sam could have been sent to a specialized hospital and brought back whenever, But no, they had to go with a permanent exit. Oh, and now Brooklyn's pointing out to Dant that he didn't eat anything at dinner. Meanwhile, Tracy's got no clue there even was a family dinner. Just one more reminder of how disconnected everything's become at the Quartermain mansion. The writers are seriously testing our memory here. Sasha's supposed to be Holly's daughter, which makes Ethan her brother? How many years has Sasha been in Port Charles without a single conversation about this connection? She even married Sonny's nephew, who was practically family with Luke, aka Ethan's dad. It's like the writers think we don't remember GH history or even the basics of family connections on this show. It's bizarre. And isn't it funny that we're all here debating where Sam's kids should live while their actual fathers barely seem to have opinions? Honestly, the dads will probably go with whatever they think is best for the kids, whether or not that means staying with them full-time. Then there's this whole family web. Sasha, Lulu, and Lucky all have Ethan as a brother, and Ethan's sister Robin now has Sasha as a sister. And we thought the Davis girls' connections were complicated. It's like a soap opera version of a family tree that just keeps sprouting new branches. As for pairing Sasha with Jason, some fans are into it, but then there's the big question of Carly. I'm a fan of Carly, so let me just put that out there. But at this point, if the writers don't plan to pair Jason and Carly romantically, they should cut off their friendship because it's become its own kind of toxic. It used to be this great, loyal friendship, but it's now so intense that neither of them can ever be fully committed to anyone else. Jason's always tied up with Sonny or Carly, and Carly, she's always holding back with everyone else because of him. It's like they're each other's biggest obstacle to real happiness. Alexis and Dante seem pretty determined to keep Danny and Scout with them, but legally, they don't have much footing. Alexis has to know she doesn't have the right to take Sam's kids away from their fathers, and neither does Dant. It's a bit selfish of Alexis to try to remove them from Rocco's life, especially when he sees Danny and Scout as his siblings. Even Valentin took his own sister's wishes seriously, making sure Charlotte stayed with family. As for Danny and Scout living with Dante, he might not have legal rights, but he's a stable, positive influence, which could make him a good choice. Jason and Drew could probably get on board with it if they think it's best for the kids, though Alexis might put up a fight. Alexis seems eager to raise them, but she's not exactly making her case to the right people here. And while we're on the subject of Jason, am I the only one who noticed the spark between him and Sasha? That rescue seemed to have left some lingering chemistry. If GH is setting up Jason and Sasha, it could make for an interesting twist, especially since Jason's long been entangled with Carly's expectations and Sonny's world. Now, about the potential baby boom. If Sasha, Brooklyn, and Willow all end up pregnant at the same time, things could get very messy. Michael's already aware he might not be Willow's baby's father, but knows he is with Sasha. If any complications come up, this could throw everyone's plans into chaos. Looks like we're gearing up for a showdown over where Sam's kids should live. Alexis and Dante might both want custody, but ultimately, Jason and Drew will have the final say. Jason technically still owns the penthouse. Sam had moved out when they divorced, and while he told her she could stay there, they never transferred ownership. If anything, Jason might talk with Dante about continuing to live there with Rocco, and then let Danny decide where he'd like to stay. Scout's situation is trickier. Drew doesn't seem fit to raise her, and Alexis isn't quite the stable choice either. Scout will most likely want to stay close to her brother, which could tip the scale in favor of her living with Jason or with Dant if he and Jason come to an arrangement. Why does Alexis talking to her grandkids' stepdad about raising her grandkids? That's a conversation that should be held with their biological fathers. Regardless of the life they live, it's still their decision to make, not Dante's. Maybe I'm wrong, but I can't shake the feeling Robert isn't Sasha's dad. It was too easy when it comes to paternity. It's never resolved, that quickly also, although it would be nice having Sasha pregnant again after what happened to her baby, I just think the last thing Michael or Sasha need is another baby because Michael already has two and Sasha is in the middle of getting to know Robert. That's if the results were correct and he's her father. Jason is not the legal owner of Sam's penthouse. When he returned after being dead the first time and everyone thought Drew was Jason, Sam and Jason legally divorced, and he legally gave Sam the penthouse in the divorce settlement. Sam then remarried Drew but divorced him too, hooked up with Jason again for a while, but eventually broke up with him. The penthouse was Sam's. Jack Brennan, have you put Jason Morgan on the payroll? The WSB owes Jason Morgan some gratitude, appreciation, and some cash. And the Port Charles Police Department, they also should be charged with aiding and abetting Sonny Corinthos and Jason. And the reason I say that because every time there's a bad guy in town and a pept is too incompetent to get a grasp on these folks, it's Sonny Corinthos and his organization that assists them and literally apprehends the criminal and hands them over to the police department for the police department to then turn go and threaten Sonny for all his criminal activity. You idiots, he just saved you. Sonny should also be on the payroll of the Port Charles Police Department as well as Jason. No worries at all about the age mix-up. The timelines on GH are so all over the place, it's easy to get tripped up. Jason's backstory is classic soap opera magic. He's aged without much logic, but who cares? He and Sasha have potential, and the chemistry is undeniable. Age is the last thing on anyone's mind with those two. And if Olivia was trying to comfort everyone, you know she must have whipped up something spectacular. She's the ultimate Italian mom, so it was probably some hearty meal to bring everyone together. Maybe a lasagna or something with lots of love and carbs to take the edge off. But Alexa's going to Dante about Danny and Scout? That's baffling. Sure, they've been living with Dante, but he has no legal claim to them, especially not over Jason and Drew. It's true they all lived like a family with Sam, doing the day-to-day, but that setup was really just because Sam and Dante were together. Now that Sam's gone, the kids' father should be the first ones Alexis consults. Dante may be a stable figure, but he was more of a stand-in, not their guardian. As for Scout's nickname, it's a cute story. She was named Emily Scout Morgan after Jason's sister, Emily. Scout came from Jason's fondness for the adventurous, resilient qualities the name implies. It was a nod to the idea that she'd be strong and independent. And yes, GH's scenes can sometimes get hilariously tangled. Tracy's off searching for Sasha at the stables, claiming the kids ate whatever scraps were around. Yet back at the Quartermain mansion, there's magically lots of dinner left, and Brooklyn's about to make Chase a plate. Classic GH continuity quirk. Sometimes it's best just to roll with it and enjoy the show. Dex definitely had a promising start, didn't he? There was so much potential for a great backstory or family connections, and it seemed like they might even pull a twist by making him Jason's son, given his mysterious vibe. But now, he's barely more than a background character. It's surprising, especially since he could have been a great addition with a lot of potential storylines. Hopefully, they bring him back to the forefront soon, or it must be tough as an actor to just pop in now and then with no real development. And you're not wrong about Sonny's storyline slowing everything down to a crawl. It's like the entire show put itself on pause just to set him up as the ultimate hero, with all these plot lines circling around his redemption arc. And somehow, it overshadowed everything else that could have been happening, including the hot girl summer plans, and even the potential Geo and Violin storyline. If the goal was to give Sonny his hero moment, it's clear that everything else was sacrificed along the way. But if Morris is happy, then maybe that was enough for them, though viewers definitely felt the impact. The idea of Jason and Sasha becoming a couple while she's pregnant with Michael's baby definitely brings some interesting possibilities to the table. The whole pretending to be the father angle is an interesting callback to Jason's past, where he's had to step into that role for Carly with Michael and Sam with Leela. It would be a full circle moment, especially with Sasha being connected to Michael and Jason taking on that protective, fatherly role once again, but this time in a complicated scenario where he's keeping a big secret. If Michael eventually found out, it would definitely echo the whole AJ and paternity storyline, especially since Michael is now living in the Q mansion and working at ELQ. The parallels would be pretty striking, Jason protecting Sasha's baby from Michael, just like he once protected Michael's paternity from AJ. This could stir up some deep emotional conflict, especially if Michael starts spiraling. Considering the issues with Willow Drew and his already fragile emotional state, seeing Michael lash out and go down a darker path wouldn't be too surprising. He could easily fall into the same patterns AJ did, becoming consumed by anger, self-doubt, and drinking. As for whether it's a brilliant idea or a bad one, it definitely has potential for both. The drama would be top-notch, and there's a lot of emotional weight that could come with Jason keeping that secret. But Jason and Michael's bond has always been about transparency, so it would be a bit of a stretch to see Jason intentionally hiding something so big. Still, soap operas thrive on complicated secrets, so it could lead to a lot of juicy drama, especially if Sasha's pregnancy and the secret fatherhood come to light at the worst possible time. Ultimately, it could work, but it hinges on whether the writers could make the idea believable and emotionally impactful. If they manage that, this storyline could be brilliant, but it also risks being too much of a stretch, given Jason's past loyalty to Michael. So it might just land somewhere in between brilliant and awful, depending on how it's handled. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.